It's long overdue. We're going to talk about what every conspiracy theory podcast talks about.
The assassination of RFK?
Possibly.
After finding success in resurrecting the dire wolf, Colossal now has its sights set on something even bigger. The New Zealand moa.
The year is 1765. The Pope has been lying to you.
It's JFK, by the way.
He'll
I don't even know what you said.
he'll edit that out.
That's perfect.
What'd you say?
I said the assassination of RFK. But she did get assassinated, but that's not the one that everyone talks about.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave it in there.
Okay. Welcome back, everybody, to Tinfoil Testament, where we are four friends in a four-sided room. Today, we are missing Vandy, but we have two extras to replace him.
Because it takes two.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we present to you Tyler.
Hello, everybody.
Jessica.
Sup?
Yeah, she's using our old mics that we used for the first couple episodes.
Yeah.
So she's going to sound terrible compared to us.
That's okay. My voice is trash anyway.
She always sounds terrible.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Oh, man. So, yeah, we've been trying to get Tyler on the podcast for a long time. It seems like every week
I've been elusive.
yeah. Seems like every week we've been asking.
Finally, he comes and Vandy's not here.
It's a shame. He just had to go to a concert down in Nashville.
Just had to. How'd your thing go, by the way?
The podcast thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, we went to Meat Eater Live, and it was pretty good. It wasn't exactly what I was expecting. I figured it was going to be like just a regular podcast, but it live in person. But it was more like they went around individually and basically did a little snippet of their life. Like a lot of them talked about their kids, and
I could talk about my kids.
yeah,
I could talk about my kids for probably hours.
you got some.
That's kind of what you do when you're a parent.
Yeah, I know.
But
But it was good. It was good. There was a lot of alcohol there.
Wow.
We couldn't.
That's how
There
you're
was-
going to follow that
there
up.
was
It was
a-
good. It was good.
there's a lot of alcohol there.
There was a hot dog booth, right, which had actually some pretty
Which
great
had
hot
alcohol?
dogs.
Beer batter.
And then there was about 4 or 5 bars, and none of them served water.
no.
So they had booze and Red Bull. And so I had to get Red Bull at
So
9:30.
you got you some wing.
Only one.
Oh my god. That's a throwback. Oh
So-
my gosh.
This is probably our last recording for the year,
Yeah. Last recording.
or last episode. I don't know if we recorded before, but
It's my first recording for the year.
so
Ooh.
Because that's how we procrastinators do it.
And we're never going to invite you again. This
Fine.
is where you peak.
The next one that I will attend, Andrew won't be here.
Oof.
maybe.
Probably.
I'll just be the substitute guy.
So we hope everyone had a good Christmas.
Yeah. Merry Christmas.
How was y'all's Christmas?
Hot.
Probably.
It's supposed to be 70s.
Last
on
I saw it was
Christmas.
supposed to be like 55, which is acceptable, but not what I want.
It's been in the 70s for like the last 3 or 4 years in
Yeah, I know.
Tennessee.
But
It's
it's
so weird too because
It was cold, and now it's gonna be.
well, it's cold tonight. Like it's going to be 30,
It will
30
drop.
degrees in the morning.
it will like a few days later it will drop. It's like clockwork. It's like we're 70 and now you're 30 and now it's 20.
It's terrible, man.
I was
It's
hoping.
horrible.
So question of the day for you guys. How long do you think it'll be before you give up on your New Year's resolutions?
Oh,
Joke's on you. I've already given up.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. If I even have any.
man, I'm going to get back into the gym like everybody does, but I was very consistent. I was very, very
You're
consistent.
not consistent with not going.
No, I was going like 5 times a week. The majority of the time.
We should make our New Year's resolution to keep people out of the gym.
Ooh.
It's the whole like reverse psychology thing.
Yeah.
And then by trying to keep people out of the gym, you go to the gym because you're trying to stop people from going. And this is the only way you can do it is like be there, be in the place. It's like the protesters outside of like the Planned Parenthood and that kind of thing. You just sit there going, stop. The world needs more fat people.
Or you say you're going to the gym every day and then you post daily pictures of yourself playing Pokemon.
That's awesome.
Pokemon Go, all right.
Whichever, whatever. Just as long as you're in a gym that day. Doesn't matter which.
No, I was going very consistently from February to opening day of deer season.
Yeah, I was saying, and then hunting season started, and you missed like 2 weeks otherwise, and you were like, I can tell, and then you started, and then deer season, and then you said, Jim who?
Yeah, I completely gave up on it the last 3 months.
You know who needs to go to the gym?
Me.
Bigfoot.
He's always in the gym, man. He's in the nature gym.
Yeah,
he's
did you see him wrestling once?
Man, he's wild.
I hope y'all liked that impromptu, completely in editing. I was like, I got to do a thing. Intro.
It was pretty great. He put that in our Discord, and I was dying laughing on the way over here. But I guess it's time to talk about Bigfoot, right?
That's one of my favorite topics.
Everybody's got to talk about it at some point. Everybody's got their viewpoints on it.
He's not real.
Bigfoot is life.
Bigfoot's like Shrek is love. Shrek is life.
Bigfoot's a demon spirit monster.
And it just teleports, when you shoot at boing.
Oh, yes.
Just teleports everywhere.
I don't believe in Bigfoot.
You don't believe
I
in
don't.
Bigfoot?
I don't believe remotely
Sean,
in
the non-believer.
Bigfoot.
Sean, you're never coming back.
Fine.
You're one and done. No, I was having a really hard time struggling. I was going to talk about another really heavy topic, but the past 2 episodes have been pretty heavy, especially the last episode we did. That was pretty rough. So I was like, I can't do another one, a third one in a row. We can't be the true crime podcast anymore.
True.
So
we need to go back to our roots.
Yeah. So I was like, man, we haven't done a cryptid in a while either. And I remembered about the video. So I was like, let's just talk about Bigfoot. So have y'all seen, I'm sure you have, it went viral on the internet, about the Bigfoot in Colorado?
You'd be surprised. There's a lot of stuff that goes viral on the internet that I just don't see.
If it's not a virus his kids has, he probably doesn't have it.
So I got the volume muted, but it's this one here. You've seen that, right?
No.
You haven't?
No, I've not seen that.
So this one, it went viral.
Send that in the
Discord,
and I'll throw it in the video.
Okay. This is the quickest one. It's a woman reacting to it, talking about it.
It'll just be the video, obviously, no audio.
Yeah.
It'll just be able to watch it while we're talking.
But it's pretty convincing. I mean, it's you can see the Bigfoot moving around, and people were saying it's a guy in a bear costume.
It's swamp gas.
Why would there be a guy in the bear costume?
Well, people do crazy things,
It's Colorado.
When you're in love.
No, I saw that this summer, and I was pretty convinced. I mean, you can see his arms.
The crazy thing is at this point in time, you don't know that that's not just AI.
Well, I know a lot of people were talking about that too. I mean,
and that's kind of the thing I hate. It's like,
it looks too
your guys'
real
work
to be
will
AI,
be
though.
cut out for you in the coming years because you can fake anything.
Right. And like AI is getting to the point where even now, like if you don't know what you're looking for, you may not realize it's AI. So to say, oh, it's too real to be AI, especially as it advances, I think that's going to get harder and harder.
Well, at least it's not bunnies jumping around on a trampoline.
Yes.
Hey, now you leave those bunnies alone. They were living their best life.
My dad, he's constantly asking me if something's AI.
Well, yeah, bless it.
It's going to become one of those things where it's like, if you have to ask, then the answer is probably yes.
Yeah.
AI is writing physics papers now. That's what's scary. And it's like not just like physics papers that people were posthumously publishing and saying, you know, oh, I wrote this, but posthumously is not the right word. But they were publishing these papers saying, oh, I wrote this, but they weren't.
But could AI write about phantom time? Or Bigfoot?
But now
or tinfoil?
Now, like
I'm just reading the words on our board.
AI is actually getting published, actual peer-reviewed physics sciences and making breakthroughs in physics. And it's like, pretty soon we won't need people with doctorates.
Worse yet, AI is writing my show notes.
But do we really need them right now? The ones with the physics anyway?
Worst yet, Bigfoot is an AI cyborg.
How do we know that Bigfoot doesn't have his doctorate in physics? That's how he teleports everywhere.
How do you feel about the string theorists?
The strings are AI generated.
We'll talk about string
That's
theory
right.
one day.
We're AI generated.
All right.
We're living in a simulation.
I want to hear what Andrew has to say about Bigfoot.
Well, not much. I mean, everybody talks about Bigfoot already. And everybody, it's literally the most known cryptid out of all the cryptids.
Okay, but
that's because he's the best cryptid.
Shoot it straight. Who/what do you think it is?
Man, I used to believe that it was like an actual ape running around. But since I've been listening to all these podcasts and Christian podcasts and Christian conspiracy podcasts and
Oh, are you kind of in the camp now where you think it's demonic? Because I think that like aliens and UFOs definitely have like a spiritual component to it. But I don't think Bigfoot's demonic. Come on now.
I don't think he's demonic, but
he can't be. He's too happy and cheerful. He just wants people to leave him alone. That's why he's like making strange noises and throwing rocks at people. He just wants peace.
Throwing rocks at people. But he's
peace.
They got a good point though. They got a good point because
what's their point?
I don't believe him. I don't believe that it's demons.
Okay.
But we don't have any hair sample. We only have, out of all the thousands and thousands of hair samples that people claim that they have of Bigfoot, it's always comes up as bear, deer, dog, human.
Which doesn't prove it's not real. It proves it's a demon.
Well, there's only like one hair sample, I think, that we actually do have. When I say we, I mean obviously Tinfoil Testament, and we
have it.
We are,
and it's Andrew's beard.
I just clipped it off and hung it up on a tree.
There is okay. So like, if we want to take that idea seriously and move forward with it, there's biblical precedent for demonically possessed animals.
Yes.
Because we have 2,000 pigs.
Yes.
And so there's no reason to assume that you
demon possessed ape.
No.
That is the best theory ever. I love it. It's a big orangutan that just got put in the wrong forest and it's angry, and then a bunch of demons are in it's legion.
Some pastor in the Philippines cast a demon out into orangutan.
This was not where I was going with this.
And kicked it to the Americas.
And it just went rogue and just started going.
Yes,
I was going to lean far more towards it could have been a demon possessed bear. It's not an ape. There's just no way it's an ape. There's no.
You can't prove that.
Scientifically, you can.
What about the footprints, though? What about the footprints? I mean, that's the one.
Yeah, that's not a barefoot.
That's the one evidence.
What is barefoot?
Yeah. It's not. It's a barefoot.
It's not a barefoot. It's a barefoot, not bear.
It's a not barefoot. It's a not bear.
Yeah.
This silliness
That's the better name for it, the not bear.
This is gonna break me.
You're welcome.
No, there's no way it could be an ape, because we don't have in America, practically anywhere, the amount of natural resources it would require to sustain an ape of the reported sizes of Bigfoot. There's just not enough food. Like,
really?
So
what about a whole troop of silverbacks, or not silverback? That's what the male's called. Of
mountain gorilla.
Mountain gorilla. Yeah.
Yeah, like
it's a whole tribe of them, and there's several.
Just let me look this up
So
real
you
fast.
can't sustain one Bigfoot.
Well, for one, they're communal animals. They actually rely on each other to
like
bring.
That this exists though, so like, I mean, which is it?
Because
do you believe
it does
or do you not
exist.
believe?
Mountain gorillas exist.
He's
Not
an atheist.
Mountain gorillas. We're just talking about Bigfoot.
He's
Anyway.
an atheist.
Andrew, explain
Atheist.
explain the other things about it being spiritual.
So, okay, without the actual physical evidence, right? And the only physical evidence that we have is footprints and then maybe one hair sample. There's no tissue samples. Nobody's shot and killed one. There's no bones. There's no fossilization of bones. There's no dead heads, no skulls, which a lot of people say, well, when was the last time that you found a predator skull in the wild? Which is, okay, if you, obviously y'all know I'm a hunter, and one of the activities I do after deer season is go shed hunting, which is looking for the dropped antlers from deer skulls, right? So you just walk around the woods and go where the bucks are always hanging out at, and you go and pick up the sheds. And while you're doing that, you're always finding bones from other animals on the trail. Like I have found so many coon skulls and possum skulls and fish bones and everything else walking around in the woods. I hunt by a lake. Okay, so that's why the fish bones are there. But
I mean, a raccoon gets a fish, pulls it on land,
yeah,
eats the fish, leaves the bones. It makes sense.
Yeah. So I found a lot of bones. I've even found. No, I haven't. I was going to say I found bones to a mouse, but I haven't.
Mm-hmm.
It was a squirrel or something. But nobody's found any bones at all. So we have quote video proof of Bigfoot, right? Everybody's got a video of Bigfoot. There's thousands of videos out there. The most famous one is
You said everybody's got a video of Bigfoot, and my mind thought up, everybody's got a water buffalo. Yours is fast, but mine is slow.
Yours is blurry and mine is too.
Perfect.
Man, it's that what.
So here's my argument. Like,
Okay.
Can you guess approximately how much plant matter daily a male silverback has to consume in order to continue living?
I would probably say 30 to 40% of his body weight.
10 square pounds.
10 square pounds?
10 square.
This is not how.
Wait, not 40%. 40% is major.
Yeah.
Okay. 20 to 30.
So in pounds,
USD.
a male mountain gorilla, a silverback, would have to consume 40 to 60 pounds of vegetation a day
That's wild.
to stay alive. Now, like, you're going to tell me that any comparably
So that's
sized,
about like 10% of his body weight.
yeah, any comparably sized ape, doesn't matter what species it is.
Yeah.
If it has even remotely similar, like, biological requirements to a male gorilla, it's going to have to be consuming copious amounts of food. And that's not just like evidence in like the vegetation from damaged vegetation from being consumed. That's also droppings and like it's tons of evidence that you just never see.
Exactly.
And so that That's my point, is that there's just no scientific evidence for it.
There's nothing there. There's no bedding sites. There's no...
And they make their beds. Like they will wreck a canopy to build a bed.
Yeah.
And we don't see that. And of course, then like the people in conspiracy theorists will say, "Oh,
we are conspiracy theorists, sir."
Everybody technically, but people who believe in Bigfoot would then say, "Well, no, they're just living in the caves. They're underground."
That's what I was going to bring up next.
Go away.
They're living. They're living in the cities that are covered by mud.
Yeah, haven't you watched this movie
with
Trolls?
the reptilians.
What was that? Sorry, tangent. We do this all the time.
It's okay.
Y'all remember that cartoon on Netflix that was about trolls?
Troll Hunters.
Which
Troll
one?
Hunters. Yeah.
No, Troll Hunters. It was it's
that was such a great show until they decided to ruin it with the last movie and retcon everything. That made me so angry.
Yeah, I didn't watch the last movie.
Well,
did you watch the other shows?
I watched
so good.
Like imagine
so good.
Imagine like you watch the entire Avengers anthology, like all the Marvel movies leading up to Endgame.
Yeah.
And in Endgame, as Tony Stark lifts up his hand and says, "I am Iron Man," and snaps his finger, he goes back in time and makes it to where Rhodey becomes Iron Man instead of him.
Oof.
And that's essentially what happens in Troll Hunters.
Everything's undone, and now you're Iron Man, not me.
And like that is the degree
they literally got rid of him. I'm like, why?
And imagine there's like this really big character development for Rhodey, and he sacrifices himself so they can win.
That's crazy. I did
not just character development for Rhodey, but character development for like the
every
main
character
too.
So I brought this up not to go on the tangent of it, but
no, you touched on animation,
because of living in caves and under the cities and everything else. I brought that up, and that's what it sparked in my head. But
did you hear about the?
So that's why. Sorry,
people in Paris that were running an underground movie theater. Like the Parisian authorities found it in like their sewers in the literal Paris undergrounds, and like they found a full working movie theater. It was no one was there because it was during the day.
Amazing.
And like they found it and they were going to go back. This was just like I say an expedition. They were just exploring down there. Like someone was looking around.
Talk about Paris.
We're not doing it.
And say expedition.
I know I can't, which is why I tried not to, but it came up. But anyway, they went
Paris expedition.
They found that, and then they were going to go back and they were going to confiscate everything. When they went back, everything was gone, and there was a little note that was left in his place that says, "Don't look for us." And that's it.
Oh,
and that's like the creepiest thing ever. But it's like there's a whole like group of people just underground in Paris doing the movie theater thing.
That's crazy.
Which is just fun. And that's not what I'm going to talk about, but I did talk about it. So
yeah. So all this, as far as the lack of evidence for Bigfoot.
Yeah, there's no cities underground with movie theaters.
Yeah. They had Bigfoot help pack it all up. But that's one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons why a lot of Christians think that it's a spiritual creature and that it's a demonic creature. Because
it's not just because there's no evidence.
Because it's physical in a way that it can react with.
But what is it doing? Okay, so all right, the alien being demonic theory makes sense because of the element of fear that is in it, especially with the whole abduction thing, right?
I don't think you hear nearly a single Bigfoot story that isn't accompanied by some sense of foreboding or fear.
Yeah.
With a sighting, because almost every single sighting, like that is a first person account. The person will say, "I could hear them and I could smell them, and it terrified me."
Yeah, and it's like an overwhelming sense of fear, like not a normal fear.
Right.
We talked about this.
Yeah.
In another episode, but it's like the existential, like I can feel it's heavy fear.
It's a primal fear that you cannot control.
All right, guys, let my wife talk.
Okay. Going to the whole idea of Bigfoot being demonic, I'm not really sure that I understand the intention behind that, because with the aliens being demonic, you can kind of see more of a
you see,
reason.
there's got
Well, you could see like there is a pattern, and it makes sense because it's an anti-Christian and anti-biblical pattern. You'll have the whole abduction thing, which has the element of fear, which granted, I know that the Bigfoot thing has fear, but the abduction thing is kind of an ongoing, and it kind of leans into the idea
Aliens
of
are
generational.
demonic.
It leans into the idea of generational curses, because if you look into the abduction theories with aliens, a lot of times it seems to follow family lines. And then the other thing with it is that when they do give people like enlightenments or whatever, it's always going to be something that contradicts scripture. Outside of just scaring people in the woods, I don't know what Bigfoot is doing that would be inherently like anti-Christian, that would follow like an idea of demons.
So, Haunted Cosmos.
Yee.
They have a theory about all this.
Okay.
The reason why cryptids are a thing is because people see something that they cannot explain, right? There's nothing in their brain that can process what they see. So they come up with these insane creatures that have tentacles and beaks and wings all in one creature and everything
some of
else.
it's also based a little bit off of reality. For example, like the whole tentacles and things, like, yeah, that's the giant squid.
Yeah, but their assessment in all this is when, especially for America, whenever America was being colonized, it was a godless country. So they say that it's demons that are manifesting in these certain ways to
Like,
cause fear,
in
to
like
cause
wild
chaos.
man type forms, because that's, yeah, but like, I mean, sure, for back in the, time frame of the pilgrims and stuff, that makes sense. But what about now?
Well,
Yeah,
The idea is also that the spiritual will kind of use whatever the culture is. So if you're a heavily spiritual culture, like religious or into spirits, then ghosts or demons and stuff. But if you're in a more materialist, believe in the physical aliens, things that aren't spiritual, but it's still through
Right.
spiritual. And the idea that Bigfoot is spiritual because it's just their way of messing. And besides just no physical evidence, it's when there's a whole bunch of accounts. They're not the mainstream, what everyone talks about, but there's a lot of accounts where it's like literally they shot Bigfoot and the bullet goes through him, or he just vanishes, or they hear all the sounds but they never even see anything, or the balls of light.
Yeah, the orbs. There's a
Right.
lot of orbs
So,
that are.
I mean, I get it,
with
but I
Bigfoot,
guess
too.
what I'm saying is like, what's the point? This is just demonic practical jokes? Because, I mean, there seems to be a driving point, at least with the idea of aliens being demonic.
If you like and adhere to the ideas behind your Dr. Heisner,
That guy's
guy,
great.
If it's demonic in the sense of like not fallen angels, but demonic in the sense of the disembodied souls of partial.
That's right. Just being troublemakers for the sake of being troublemakers.
Yeah, and that's kind
All
of
right.
that's kind of like the sort of the idea present in the unclean spirits asking to go into pigs. Because I mean, why? What was the point? Well, the point was to cause more trouble. Directly because of the incident of the 2,000 spirits going into 2,000 pigs, driving them over the cliffs. Jesus is not allowed to go into the nearby towns. They say, get out of here. We don't want whatever you're selling. And so he immediately has to leave.
Yeah.
And essentially leaves the demoniac who was delivered as like his only like witness in that area.
I heard a great theory, since we're on the subject. I heard a great theory about, when they're crossing the Red Sea and the storm comes up, that it was actually Legion causing the storm to prevent Christ from coming there.
That could make sense with some things, especially like with the sense of, or with the idea that like in the area specifically, the practice of the worship of the god Baal had been a prominent thing, and Baal was considered a storm god.
Yeah.
And so like it could have been, well, we'll show you, we'll do our Baal act type thing. Because you got to think, if this is true, and I put the big if there because I'm still not sold on Dr. Heisen or whatever his name is. I'm still not sold on his ideas, but
They're pretty interesting.
Oh, they're fascinating. They're absolutely fascinating. And so it's fun to chew on for a while and think about. Again, I need to show you this, but the guy that I follow, the artist, Matt Rhodes, he's doing the Dead
He
Gods
does
thing.
such pretty work.
He is like in the Dead God stuff. He is doing that. Like he has the whole,
He's following the Nephilim.
he has like the Nephilim, and like for the monsters that he creates, they are animals and people who are possessed of Nephilim spirits.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it's a really cool concept. I really need to show you that because you'll really enjoy that. But anyway,
So you are saying that Bigfoot is a possessed orangutan?
I see.
No.
It goes back to that. I think that is the best theory ever.
potentially a bear or any and realistically any kind of like medium to large size mammal.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, you're a wildsman. You kind of know the whole.
Do you know
idea.
the wild man?
You're the wild man.
You are experienced with dealing with game animals, and like there's this like astonishing statistic that like some 60% of Americans think that they could come out on top, like fist fighting a dog, and it's like no, you wouldn't.
No.
You just know you wouldn't.
No.
And
there are some people in this country that believe that
they could
they
fight a
can
bear.
fight a grizzly.
Oh, I thought you were saying this room.
There's some people right here, right now, and I'm calling you out.
Yes.
But it's exactly that. Like you think a raccoon isn't an unholy terror until you've had to deal with
Until you get to a fist fight with it.
Yeah.
a rabid raccoon or something like that. And so like, but then, so like, if we want to talk about naturalistic, because I always like to bounce back and forth the ideas of the naturalistic possibilities versus the spiritual possibilities, it could be in the vein of people who got infected by something or another that caused them to have like lapses of sanity, like psychosis. It could be rabies. Like it could, a person could legitimately have gotten rabies. It takes like weeks to months for rabies to actually affect somebody. So you don't know when you're going to get it. That's the most terrifying thing about
You never
rabies.
know when to get rabies. It could happen at any time.
At any time.
Well,
You
of
don't
course-
know. You could have rabies right now.
If you suspect that you've been infected with rabies, please
So
contact your
we have a
primary care
rabid
human, because you wouldn't look for human evidence as part of your Bigfoot evidence. You would just say, where's the ape? Where's the animal?
Yeah.
And if there's human evidence, and to be fair, in any kind of scientific exploration into this topic, human evidence would be everywhere. Like
Right.
you can't help but leave hair, skin samples, like what, like if some guy decides to go in the woods, there's waste material, human biological waste in the place where you're investigating. So nobody's going to look for that as being the plausible explanation. Now that this is not, of course, what I would say an explanation for modern encounters, because like if somebody had rabies and was running around in the woods, pretty sure the local news would be on that. They'd be like, a local man was found infected with rabies, with late stage rabies.
Well, plus with rabies too, it gets to a point where the person cannot swallow water.
Oh yeah,
They are hydrophobic, and
you
they
die.
They die of dehydration, which is in 3 days.
But also very, very cleanly explains the gaps in sightings, especially like as you go further and further back in time, where like so let's say like a person 2 or 3 days into the infection is wandering around with tattered clothes, maybe they're messy, covered in mud or something, acting like an absolute insane person. You see that, or you hear someone out in the woods screaming bloody murder because their mind is gone. It's been consumed by a bacteria. It's quite conceivable that you would listen to that, see that, and say it's a wild person. It's not human because they've lost what makes them human. But they're in every other conceivable way human-like. And then you get into the other naturalistic theory, which is the idea that there might have been other species of hominid on the planet.
Yeah.
And I mean, that gets into kind of like, do you believe that there's more than one like human species? And I don't want to dig into all that because that becomes super messy really fast between like creationists and the evolutionists. And I think we all know what side we fall on in this conversation. But
yeah, we've talked about several times. We haven't actually dug into it, but we don't believe the Earth is millions upon millions of years old.
And so, like, all I point to in all of that is to say there are a myriad of more rational, natural explanations to the idea of Bigfoot than immediately invoking either some incredibly elusive cryptid that we just can't seem to find, although it's enormous and would be leaving its biological indicators all over the place.
Yeah.
Or it's some kind of spiritual. And like, I'm not saying this to poo-poo the idea of it being demonic in nature, because there is a likelihood that it could be. I mean, we have as much biblical evidence as we have any other evidence that that could be the case.
Well, I like to believe that it's something. I don't know what it is, obviously, but look at other cryptids, like the Jersey Devil. Have you heard of the Jersey Devil?
I've heard of the Jersey Devil. I couldn't give you any specifics on the Jersey Devil.
What about you, Jessica?
I've heard of it as well. But
Have you seen like what they say it looks like and stuff?
It's the Tasmanian Devil, but with the Jersey accent.
Oh my God.
Perfect.
Oh my God. Well, it's they describe it. They describe it a lot like a devilish cartoon devil with wings.
Yeah.
And it's got I believe it's got like goat's feet too. But whenever it lands on a limb, it doesn't bend the limbs. Like it just rests on top of the limbs. But whenever it takes off,
perceptually, it's weightless.
Right. But whenever it takes off, then it affects the limbs and the limbs bounce. So, I mean, that's
peculiar, but
it's very odd.
I say it's peculiar in that's a peculiar detail that you would remember if you were like eyewitness to any kind of phenomenon of any kind of like obviously corporeal entity that
they
goes into a tree. And like to just remember that, like, it's so odd that it landed on the branch. The branch didn't move. And I know that thing was big enough to move that branch. And when it took off, the branch did move, and that was strange too. Because why didn't it move when it landed? I can see where you're going with that.
Yeah, but
I don't know. You're just making me think of a giant owl, like the way you described that for some reason.
But even a giant owl would move the branch.
I know.
But a lot of people have seen it resting on top of bushes and not just tree limbs. And so that's where that whole, not affecting.
I immediately thought of it like sitting on the bush and then sinking into the bush. And then I thought of like Homer Simpson going back into the bush. It's just like,
yeah.
And he's gone.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's, we need to go on to the next topic, but that's kind of, I don't know. We're going to
Bigfoot all night.
We're going to talk about this subject later on.
Bigfoot will be another.
Yeah. Because everybody talks about Bigfoot, and there's so many theories about it because it is the most popular.
Well, I still think that we just came up with the best one.
I've never heard
Bigfoot.
that before, and I love it.
Bigfoot is just a demon-possessed orangutan.
Oh, I love it.
That's it. It's just a demon-possessed ape.
Demon-possessed orangutan or bear, one of the two.
That was conjured here to the Americas.
I love it.
Yeah. I'm going to run with that word.
Conjured? Are you a witch? Is this
whisked away?
I mean, we just said it was
demonic.
demonic.
Do we need to bring out the pitchforks and torches here?
Possibly.
Do we need to bring out the scales? Do you weigh more than a duck?
Maybe.
Bring the rope and the
Maybe.
boulders. Let's go to the lake.
All right.
Oh man. Well, that's my Bigfoot story.
That's my big foot.
There you go.
It's my Bigfoot story, and I'm sticking to it. What
Well-
do you got, Tyler?
The de-extinction of the MOA by Colossal Biosciences. Now, you guys, you remember it was earlier in this year where they had resurrected the dire wolf, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna say resurrected with air quotes because it was not a resurrection. It was,
But
not
it
a
was still really cool.
really cool, really terrifying. It's something. It was one of those things where like the line of Jeff Goldblum's character from Jurassic Park.
Mm-hmm.
You spend so much time wondering whether or not you didn't stop to think whether or not you should.
Nature always finds a way.
It does, except for with the direwolf because it went extinct.
And with dinosaurs.
They went extinct. But what's going on now is that same company that resurrected the direwolf is looking at resurrecting a giant bird species called the moa. They're native to the islands of New Zealand.
Oh, are these the ones that are like the giant chickens that are like chocobos that you can like run around and like have fun with?
That would be my theory, and that's why I want them to do it.
But
But
is that what we're talking about?
So they're not like chickens. Okay, so
Ow.
but yes, but they're not like chickens. They're a specific kind of bird called a ratite, which is
want a giant
emus
chicken.
and cassowaries and
Ostrich.
yes,
yeah, like
Yeah.
an ostrich. Yeah.
but closer related. The New Zealand moa is closest related to the kiwi, the bird.
I think I've heard this,
All right, so
which would make sense because kiwi is native to New Zealand,
yeah, and so
and they have a massive egg. It's literally the size of their body. It's insane.
yes.
It's insane the size ratio compared to the body of the kiwi.
And that's kind of one of the traits of the rat-type birds is that they all have massive eggs.
Yeah.
Because, like, why wouldn't you? If you can get all that growing done on the inside of the egg, why not do it there? But these particular birds, imagine an emu that stands about 9 feet tall.
That's insane. That's insane. That's taller than the ceilings right here.
Yeah, it's huge. And there's not a lot of actual like literature that is passed down about these birds. Although, like contrary to the direwolf, which science says may have gone extinct about 12,500 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and then we're not getting into worldview conversations right now. But contrary to that, we know that the moa probably went extinct only about 600 years ago.
Really?
Yeah. So like Columbus selling the ocean blue,
Yeah.
moa were still around.
That's wild.
So like these birds are not simultaneous or contemporary to humans. Like
Mhm.
they are. Like
Yeah.
we found them and we're like, what marvelous birds. They're huge. They're not afraid of us. Let's eat them.
That's what we did with the dodo too.
Exactly. And so but like
And the cow.
Humans.
so this except for the cow was like we're much more successful on keeping the cow around.
It tasted too good to let it go away.
Yeah.
But we don't know how
Well, I
good or
guess
not.
the
Must not
only
have been
reason
too good. They would have made sure to keep them around.
I guess the only reason why the cow stayed around is because of the milk. 'Cause that's the only thing I can think of. Milk and a beast of burden.
well,
It was beneficial for us to have them.
and that becomes like a really interesting
But
question.
that bird could have been beneficial too.
Well, it could have been
A war bird.
but this is like the difference between this is the difference between like raising fowl versus raising cattle.
Yeah.
Is that like pound for pound the amount of energy that it takes to bring a cow to being full grown before you can slaughter it and harvest its meat, it's like on the order of I think it's like 10 times what it would take to keep a chicken alive long enough to have the chicken large enough
Yeah.
to eat.
A chicken now, since they bred them this way,
Yes.
6 weeks
Yeah.
from hatching to butcher, 6 weeks.
And that
Crazy.
It is crazy. Oh, I don't want an ad to play. So the thing that's going on with cattle there is like we keep them around because they take so long to get to the point where we would kill them for their meat. And
Yeah.
it just so happens that also coincides with their life cycle and then us getting their milk. And so the benefits of keeping cows around for far longer outweigh the detriments of, raising them and slaughtering them almost immediately. Although
Right.
we do that with some cows.
But imagine giant battle chickens.
It's cold in here.
That
What?
it's a video we'll show you later. It has nothing to do with any kind of intellectual discussion whatsoever, but it is a hilarious video. And so I'll have to show it to you.
So moa birds.
So moa birds, but not just moa birds. I think the whole point of bringing this up is part of a larger conversation.
Yeah.
That I wanted to.
So
kind
we're
of,
not making large chocobos to just have and ride on. And
Well,
have a great
actually-
time.
So that's actually part of that fascinates me. What interests me about moas, and I was fascinated with moas before Colossal even started talking about bringing them back, is because some of the anecdotes that we have passed down about the moa is that they would imprint on individual people if you were around and were like there when it hatched.
Like a horse.
Yeah, they
Yes.
they'd imprint
Well,
on
keep
you,
saying
and
this.
you would be its person.
Okay, Jacob.
And so it does it kind of like lends itself to the idea of like, yeah, I could have had a giant bird to ride around all the time.
So this is
there's
Ark Evolved. This is what we're playing now.
that's right.
This is the Earth. What update is this? Earth 9.5 or whatever.
And my brother played all
Update.
the Ark games, and he had a blast playing them. I never got to play them, but it sounded like
I
it was a fun
tried,
time.
man. I tried. I got way too frustrated.
But the question becomes, like, when is it not just like an act of scientific intrigue, but becomes more of this is in the interest of, say, humanity or the ecology to de-extinct a species?
Yeah.
Because that was kind of the question that was going around whenever they did it with the dire wolves. It's like the dire wolves, like by naturalist accounts, went extinct like over 12,000 years ago. Their ecosystem is gone.
Right.
They would have been around during the Ice Age. They would have been around with mammoths and with other large megafauna at the
I
time.
would like a mammoth to come back. That'd be cool too.
Well, they're
Well, they're
working
looking
on
at
that
that.
too.
They're
I
looking
know.
they're looking
Yeah.
at
That's
that.
what I'm saying. That'd be really neat too.
But that becomes the question, though, right? Like, is it expedient to de-extinct the mammoth? Like, what
Yeah.
for? Like,
To eat.
where? And all scientific evidence points to the fact that like humans in early like pre-civilization humans hunted and ate mammoths. We were really good at it.
Yeah.
We kind of did that until they all died. There's kind of a trend here, by the way. It's like
It's almost like humans are good at that, huh?
Almost like we're good at eating things.
We're hungry all the time.
we're really good at hunting the animal to extinction. We're not so good at making the animal be our friend. We've only like really accomplished it with like a handful of animals and said,
No.
that's enough.
Over the vast amount of over the vast
But, I mean,
animal kingdom, yeah, just a handful.
it tracks though because your brain needs so many calories to just function.
Mhm. We were talking about that with the Bigfoot.
What?
Yeah, well, that was my point with the Bigfoot is that a male silverback requires 40 to 60 pounds of vegetation a day.
You did say that. Yeah. So when you start getting to
And that's-
levels like
And that's because they don't
this,
eat meat,
with the
by the
higher
way.
thinking, the higher
Yeah.
Like we
functioning of the
require a
brain.
higher caloric amount
Right.
to keep our brains going because your brain is like the biggest caloric
Cholesterol.
burner
Yes.
in your body.
Right.
And
Too bad studying doesn't make you lose weight.
Wouldn't help me.
Someone needs to
I
figure
mean,
that out.
studying sans snacking.
Listen.
So the moa bird.
Listen.
So the-
Sometimes them Christmas tree cakes, they'd be pretty good.
So the question I pose to all of you is, when does it become expedient for us to play God?
Well, they were
Never.
Ooh, never. That's right. Never.
Never experience.
They were trying to get the mammoth to come back to try to, quote unquote, combat global warming.
What?
Yes,
because it was going to insulate the ground.
Yeah,
and
because
keep
there was
no.
Who's they? What?
Scientists. So they're saying that their presence on the Earth with I forgot how it all works, but
cow farts make it hotter, mammoth farts make it colder.
I was about to say, you're like scientists, and then you trailed off there, and I'm like, that doesn't sound very scientific.
But their role with the permafrost and the vegetation that was around it somehow it kept and stored the carbon that was in the soil. But now
so they had magical poo.
I don't know.
I
heard
think
this
the
a long time
conversation-
ago and I completely forgot.
I think the conversation was more like, when mammoth alive, it cold. When mammoth dead, it hot. Bring mammoth back.
It's
And
gonna
it'd be cold again.
that's how it works.
We haven't gotten much smarter in a few thousand years.
No. But I mean, that was the argument for bringing back the mammoth. That was one of the arguments.
Well, that's a silly argument.
But then also the argument is, well, what creates a mammoth
Is a mammoth.
is obviously its makeup, its genes, its genetics.
It's makeup. Maybe it's Maybelline.
Yeah.
Wearing fake eyelashes and all. No, but it's all those things. Yes, it's DNA. Yes, but it's also its characteristics. It's also knowing what it should eat and how it should eat and where it should go. All the
I mean, in
knowledge.
theory, it just seems like a furry elephant.
Well, it is. I mean, it is.
Pachyderm.
Yeah, but it.
Can mammoths jump?
And I don't know.
No, because they're dead.
Shut up. Shut up.
Oh man.
But what I'm trying to get
Roasted.
around to is,
And just like
you're
that,
going to
we
have
puked.
it's the same argument that they had with the dire wolf. Yeah, you may have something that's very genetically alike to what was there 12,000 years ago, but it's not going to have any of the characteristics of it. It's not going to act like a dire wolf.
But that's the special thing about the dire wolves that they created, is that they're not genetically alike to the dire wolves that were around, because they used gray wolves as the template, but genetically speaking, dire wolves are closer related to African jackals than they are to great wolves.
Well, then why
didn't they? Because it was a wolf, and that gets to the grander question that I'm bringing up, is that you've got this company that's essentially opened Pandora's box to the ability to put together, at least
anything.
genetically speaking, whatever
Chimeras.
animal they want to make.
Although let's not do like that one guy with his dog.
No, we won't go Full
that
Metal
was
Alchemist on
horrible.
this.
Not Zhao Tucker, no.
No. But we are quickly approaching not just the capacity to manipulate like animal life on the planet to any degree that we would choose to. We're closely getting to the point where we can manipulate human life on the planet
So
however we want to.
Elon.
It's not
No.
not just Elon. Like there was the guy that made with CRISPR modifications. He modified like human embryos that were born. Like 3 babies were born that were genetically modified. They're genetically modified humans.
GMO babies.
There you go. And so like at what point is
But like
these
That's
are
a blast for the past.
The episode that never happened.
Yeah.
and
Sorry.
no worries. I'm sorry to have brought up such a sore
I
point.
have something that goes with what you're saying.
Question
Go for it.
before you do that.
Sure.
Are you guys GMO babies or free range?
I mean, you and I are siblings, so I mean, I don't know.
I would
you
like
would
the
probably know
record-
more than me.
I'd like the
What
record
is
to
that?
show that I am pro baby
Well, I mean,
as
I don't know
opposed
what
to
Mom
anti
did.
baby.
That's not the question. It's GMO or free range babies.
I feel like you're setting me up to say that I'm anti baby if I take either
No,
side.
no. You're overthinking it. you're overthinking it.
We're
I
not
just don't know.
gaslighting you.
I don't know where you're going with this.
This was our very first episode that we recorded.
That
Are
Yeah,
you
then-
asking us which we would prefer?
I'm saying yes.
We never actually posted this episode. This
GMO
was like
versus
a test episode.
it was the first episode was GMO versus free range babies.
yeah,
I'm gonna go with free range.
good.
I mean, I don't need nothing to be genetically
So
modified.
here comes the harder questions, the ethical questions, the
Do, do,
moral
do, do.
dilemmas.
no,
If you
because
have,
that gets into eugenics.
yeah, but
That's,
And that's
where
not
we went.
great.
if you have
episode.
if you have the capacity to eliminate like potential
No,
problems,
I don't want to go down this road. This is
It's
a bad road.
Yeah.
It's a bad road, but
no.
Yeah.
but there's also like benefit, like because on the one hand, so like there's and I don't know what the state
You
of
might
the
as
law
well
is
just
currently.
leave abortion alone because it's the same. I mean, let's
hold on,
just
hold
not.
on. I want to address that because there was
But I had a cool idea. Well, story.
Well,
I'm sorry, but
you'll
I was just asking a simple.
no
That was not a simple
And
question.
then you guys are like,
The
"You're trying to
worm.
trick me."
the worms the can of worms are open now and they're everywhere
and they're not gummy worms.
no, they're nasty, disgusting worms
The most
that Andrew would
nasty-
use
nasty
to,
worms.
to fish with.
Nasty.
But no, there was a law, and I don't know what the state of the law is currently in the UK, but there was a law that at least they were trying to pass that
Yes.
would have required by law you to abort any
If your
person who
child
was found
was
to
gonna
have
have Down
been developing
syndrome.
Down syndrome.
And I disagree with that 100%.
So the
for a lot of reasons.
so the question becomes
They did that in Iceland.
the question becomes if you have the capacity then to genetically modify the individual to not have Down syndrome, do you then have the preference towards the genetic modification or the abortion? You said you might as well abort. Well, are you on the abortion side or are you on the genetic modification side? Because that's the hard conversation that we're going to have when it comes to a lot of diseases.
just
Like
don't-
Down syndrome is just one of a myriad
I mean, well,
of
the thing is again, it's Pandora's box, and it's,
Yeah,
it's
it
bad
really
news
is.
bears because you can take it from something like Down syndrome, and you can work it all the way down to like pretty much-
left-handedness.
No, well you can, but you can work it all the way down to like autism too. And so the thing is that you don't know what a person's quality of life is going to be.
For the record,
Until-
I am not against left-handed people.
You don't know what a
I
person's
am.
quality of life is going to be until they are born and living and here. And so to make a decision about that without knowing that information, it's like, no, I just don't.
I mean, you can expound the conversation out to vaccinations.
That is, listen, I'm gonna tell what I had because we were talking about really neat stuff, and I know I showed you this because it was so wild. So this is actually a legit story, a thing that
Hold
an
on,
article
you
I
never
read.
answered. GMO or free range? I
I'm
need
not-
an answer. I need an official answer.
Tune in next time.
Hello.
This article
The
I read.
preference is obvious. The preference is obvious if you want your free range babies, right? If you can have a healthy child and you can have it like
I
without
don't even care about it. I don't care about child's healthy or not. That thing's free range.
Okay, but this is even going into your free range GMO baby conversation. this
Let's do
article.
it.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay, so this is
You never knew that by bringing up the de-extinction of the MOA, I was de-extincting the first episode of this
That's
show.
what happened. You brought it back to life.
listen, this was so cool. So there was this lady that went and got blood work done, and whenever the doctors were looking at everything, it came back and it showed just that it was some guy's blood work, and the doctors were like, this must have been contaminated. We need to have her do this again. So they sent her back to the lab. She had blood drawn again, and same thing. It came back showing like that it was a male. And so they were like, what is going on? So they had her come in. They did some testing. And it kept coming back that way. So then they started testing like different tissues and found that all the other parts of her body, the genetic markers were female. But in her blood only, the genetic markers were male.
What?
And yeah, exactly. It's like, what? So they did some digging and found out that she actually has a twin brother. So then they did some testing, and it turns out that the DNA.
Don't tell me that the
in
twin
her
brother
blood-
had her
No.
blood.
The DNA in her blood was identical to her twin brother's DNA. But then she had DNA in all her other tissues.
Organs, because
Yeah.
the blood is an organ.
Right.
Yeah.
The DNA in all of her other organs and tissues was a totally different genetic to her. So she basically had 2 sets of DNA
How
in her
does that
body, her
happen?
own and her brother's. Well, when they started researching and digging, they found out that during her mom's pregnancy, the placenta touched. And there was basically kind of during that phase of development, I'm probably butchering all the scientific stuff on this, but during the phase of fetal development, there was essentially like transfusion, and she developed with her brother's blood. But what makes it so crazy is that her body's immune system did not attack it as foreign.
Yeah.
And so her blood is literally biologically DNA, all that stuff.
So Jess has like
somebody else's.
she has like
So
a
it's
really
so cool.
deep fascination with things like congenital twins.
I do.
Like the whole idea of like 2 people having shared a single
conjoined
Yeah.
twins,
biological body.
Yeah.
It fascinates her to no end. That's one of the things that she was really into when I first met her in college, and she's always had like this interest.
I just
ongoing.
Well,
like medical anomalies.
But this
though,
is essentially what
in
happened
general.
is that she
We're
developed.
conjoined at the blood.
Yeah, for real.
But they were, because she has
I know.
her brother's organ living inside of her. But it's no different than if you had an
Well,
organ
then she-
transfusion. Like if she had grown up and like had like kidney disease or something, and then like her brother donated a kidney.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Well,
what would it
So
would
technically,
be. It would-
she's a chimera, but not only that, like she's the only medically documented case right now, and there's been a lot of wanting to do research with her. I don't know if she'll agree to it or not, because again, it was just an article. But the reason why this is so interesting and helpful is like it can help people figure out about our immune system and our immune response, and it can help people figure out like not having, like if you have like an organ transplant, not having your body reject the donor.
Right.
So it's really cool and really, really fascinating.
Yeah, they
And that was a free range baby, not a GMO.
Jeez. It's been going around on the internet this year that whenever a mother has a child, especially the first child, that child's DNA stays with the mother.
Yes.
And then if she has another child, then that first sibling's DNA goes into his or her sibling's DNA.
I don't know about that.
It's
I
it's
don't
like
know.
it's like a small sample, but so it's weird. It's weird.
Like this person legitimately has 2 separate sets of DNA, and one is her brother's, and it's only in her blood. So just in her bloodstream.
That is insane.
And then the
to
rest of
think
her is
about.
her.
But like you said, the fact
If she
that
wanted
her
to do a
body,
crime and blame her brother, she can do it.
you
Just
just
leave
got to
some
make sure
blood.
that she just
Just like
sprays
prick your
blood everywhere.
No, not spray. Just that's graphic. Just prick your finger. It'd be fine.
Well, it's got to
But
be in
no,
a
she
white
doesn't wanna-
room. Just prick your finger and dab
You'd be
it.
surprised at how much you can make yourself bleed by accidentally pricking your finger. I've done
Well,
that
yeah, I
before.
guess if you hit a vein, right?
If you watch anime, if you prick your finger,
Oh man, yeah, we talked about anime a lot last episode, or
Yep.
the Christmas episode.
the Christmas episode,
we did. Yeah,
we
we talk about a lot of random things.
we talked about
on this
some
podcast.
anime.
Okay,
All right,
Yes, we did.
all
All
right.
right, we talk about some anime.
All right,
okay.
that's a great conversation.
I wasn't here. I didn't talk about anime.
You weren't.
No, he just he was going on with the sentence and then he just
He
stopped.
just stopped and it was quiet.
I mean, did y'all want to talk about or talk about anime?
No.
Not at this moment,
You know what I
because
think
I'm
is-
still stuck on the moral dilemma of whether
I don't
or
want to
not-
be in any more moral dilemmas.
No, because that's the whole point of the Moa story that I bring up, is that
Will you be made in the image of God or in the image of man? That's what it boils down to.
that's a great question.
Ooh, that is a very good question. And it's almost like bringing up the stuff about the beast and the mark of the beast and all of that.
Yeah, wouldn't it be wild if we like found out that the beast was a GMO baby? No, I
It
mean,
could
I
be.
mean, in a serious way, because like the whole idea of the beast having a mortal wound to the head that he has recovered from could have been like, look at this person. They should have been born with Down syndrome, or they should have been born like invalid completely as an individual. But by the miracle of science, we've brought them back. That's about it. I mean, as far as like what I wanted your opinions on, which I guess I kind of got it. It's like everybody is very dead set against this idea of us being able to genetically manipulate anything.
No, okay. I have mixed feelings, and I think I said this. In our GMO failed
I have
recording.
mixed feelings too, but
I think-
there's a line.
I think it's cool that we can do these things. Like there's a part of me that's like, this is so fascinating. This is cool, and I understand with the GMO stuff, the babies. I understand the good intentions with getting diseases and stuff. I get it, but I am against that, because you're basically saying to people who have those, your life's not worth living.
Right.
You're saying
I don't think you're saying that. I think you're saying I think what the intentional or the intent of the message there is, if we could have helped you, we would have helped you.
Yeah.
But
And like, how are you going to say that to somebody? It's like imagine you have lived with what is essentially a life debilitating condition from birth your entire life, and then you find out that someone you know is also going to be born with the same condition, and then someone tells you, but we can make their life better. Would you, as that person, say to yourself, no, I don't want their life to be better?
If this was being led by people who were in that spot who said, I don't want someone to do that, sure. But the main driving force behind this is not that attitude. The main thing is like, this is bad, we don't want it. It's the same driving force, but of saying it's better to abort the child and let them live. Like, that's the same main force behind it. And that's, to me, that attitude is like saying your life really wasn't worth living.
right, no, agreed.
There are people who have good intentions, like you said. I'm not saying like everybody who wants this is thinking that. I'm saying the scientists, and like, if we were to do this, the eventual government orders would not be, we want to make your life better. It would be, we don't want people like
They
you
would use what you
in our
just said
society.
as the PR to get it going, and
Probably.
then once it got it going, the people that are in control of everything would then use it for what they want to.
Yeah,
Probably.
we don't want you. You're a weakness in society. Your life's not worth living is
And
the ultimate conclusion of that.
And probably like one of the big commentaries that you could take away from this is that perhaps we should be studying certain adverse conditions within the human experience. We should be studying them from a psychological standpoint to say, are these really as negative as they are portrayed? We need to evaluate what is and is not true neurodivergence. And I think that like if we approached the discipline of psychology with any amount of earnesty that we have approached, say, de-extincting the Moa or direwolves, then we might find out that what we currently describe as being neurodivergent is actually simply an expression of traits in individuals that at some point in time were highly beneficial to a society, especially early human society, where the needs of the collective required there be far more specialization of behavior.
Yeah.
Because nowadays what we have is we have a culture and a society that is like racing towards this idea that everybody's behavior needs to be the same and everybody's lifestyle needs to more or less be cookie cutter to one another. It's like there is no need for people who express different patterns of thought or behavior, because when you do, you become problematic to the way our society has been established, and that is that everybody should be behaving essentially more or less the same way.
You're gonna sleep in the pod and eat the bugs,
Oh no.
or live in the pod, I should say. Live in the pod, eat the bugs, put your VR headset on, and go into the multiverse and just
Be enlightened.
yeah. That's what it's gonna be. That's what it's gonna come down to. But
All right.
well, I think it's time for tinfoil or true.
Are you all ready?
I'm ready.
You ready for this?
So
Are you ready?
no.
Boom boom. Dun 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 dun. Ba-dum, boom 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 boom.
Oh, I was thinking Space Jam.
Oh. I don't know why my brain went
You
to
went
Law and Order. I don't know why.
There are two kinds of people.
I haven't even watched anything Law and Order. And it just went.
you have
You
have spared yourself. You've spared yourself. I can't think of. Well, I actually could think of, but there are very few things that I can think of that are a more morbid waste of time than watching Law and Order. Because Law and Order is just an exercise in how bad can I watch this situation get before I'm willing to walk away.
So many of those reality TV shows that are like that. Anything that has to do with
It's not even reality. It's like somebody was like, yeah, I'll make somebody sit through an hour of watching this.
yeah,
It's masochistic.
it's terrible.
All right, tinfoil.
Yeah.
So this is a game we play every episode, and the rules. I stand in for Vandy. Will give two headlines or situations. One of them is true. The other is tinfoil, and it's you guys have to decide individually. Don't think too long and hard. This isn't like a super whatever, but just like which one you think's real, which one you think's fake.
I'm excited about this.
Comments play down below.
As he says in the most monotone voice, I'm excited about this.
First scenarios.
Exhilarating.
The FBI sent an anonymous letter to Martin Luther King Jr. that he believed was a call to murder himself. The letter claimed that King had a history of adult deviancy and that, quote, there is only one thing left for you to do. You know what it is, end quote. King stated this was implying he should take his own life, while others say it was a call to resign.
I'm going to say that that's true.
Yeah, I was going to say
Second scenario.
true.
Second scenario. The FBI sent a warning letter to Cesar Chavez threatening federal action if farm worker strikes continued. The letter alleged that the strikes were illegitimate, built on exaggerated and false claims, and warned continued disruption of agricultural production could not be tolerated. It stated that, quote, those who knowingly interfere with the economic stability of the nation for the sake of profit and power must expect consequences beyond public sympathy, end quote. The language implied if he did not distance himself from these strikes, federal authorities would reclassify the movement as a threat to national economic security rather than a labor dispute.
I'm still going to stick with the
true
first
tinfoil.
one. The first one is true, the one about Martin Luther King. And then the agricultural one, tinfoil.
They're both very detailed.
Oh, I know. But I think the first one.
It somehow feels like the three doors problem. Which I don't know if you guys know about the three doors problem, but it feels like I should change my answer. But going against all of that, I'm gonna follow my instincts and say true tinfoil.
You're all correct.
Yeah.
I actually read the
Yeah.
letter that was sent to him, and it's so stupid. It's like clearly, they're like, you're a bad name to black people, and it's all gonna come out, and you know what to do. Like you got 32 days. It's like it was 32 days. It was
In reality, they killed him.
yeah. So, all right, next round. X, formerly known as Twitter, tested how long users would stay online without seeing any posts from accounts they followed. In 2016, engineers at Twitter selected accounts at random and temporarily suppressed posts from users that they followed without notifying them. The goal, according to them, was to see how long users would stay active on the platform when organic content was reduced and whether increased exposure to promoted posts and ads impacted how long one would stay online. Internal summaries supposedly framed the test as a way to optimize user attention endurance.
Okay.
What were the findings?
People didn't like not seeing who they followed. Like it did not go well. And the second one, Facebook altered feeds for an experiment on controlling emotions. In 2012, Facebook deliberately altered news feeds of hundreds of thousands of its users without their knowledge to study what it called emotional contagion. Posts containing positive or negative language were selectively reduced to observe whether users would unconsciously mirror the emotional tone they were exposed to. The internal study concluded that emotions could be considerably influenced at scale even without direct interaction or user consent.
True.
Tinfoil true.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with tinfoil true. Like it
The second
seems
one is
both
true.
both of
First
these
one,
seem
tinfoil.
very, very, very probable.
I know this one.
I know that Facebook did this because there was a
For
bunch
a
of
fact.
issue.
I don't know that
I don't know
Facebook
about
did
the
this,
time frame on it,
but the
I know they've
second
done
one
it.
feels true.
No,
and the first
the
one,
second.
the first
the first
one
one feels
seems true, but the second
plausible,
one
but-
feels true. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, tinfoil true.
Right again.
Yes.
I put in 2016 hoping y'all would be like that was the election year
Yeah.
and think like they were actually doing it for the election. That's did not work.
I would have believed it too. I would have zero doubt that they wouldn't have.
That is interesting though, because here's the thing. I think the thing that cued me in on the idea that the Twitter X thing was false was that they said that there was less engagement, because I actually think that you would have found more engagement from people when they were denied their typical feed, because I think they would have actively sought out their feed. I think there would have been more engagement in a weird way, because not engagement with the ads or with like false content or
More like people
manufactured.
being like, "What's going on?" Let's
yeah,
figure this out."
like where's
They would just-
so and so?
Well, the reason why
Scroll.
I actually answered it didn't work is because we know like they didn't do that experiment, but we know that people, when they don't see what they're looking for, turn off, because that's what they do with Facebook now. Facebook almost shows nothing you follow, and it's all promoted stuff, has nothing to do with anything. And people turn off Facebook now quicker than they used to.
I don't know, man. I found a
Very good.
really good
So what's the
Rice
third
Krispie
one?
treat recipe on Facebook recently.
Okay,
Facebook is good for something.
third. An entire community in Vermont was relocated after toxic fumes were found beneath the town. In 1872, residents living in the area were offered government buyouts.
1862?
72.
1872.
Yeah, 1872 residents were offered government buyouts rather than just having a formal evacuation issued. After the government determined there was some weird fumes coming from under the ground that posed long-term risks. I completely read that wrong. Internal assessments reportedly warned that public evacuation would draw national attention and legal liability, while voluntary relocation allowed the situation to be resolved quietly over time. The approach was framed as a cost-effective alternative to declaring an emergency.
Okay.
Second one. Let's see.
A
What's that?
town in Pennsylvania has been burning underground for over 60 years. A coal mine fire ignited beneath the town and has continued burning underground for decades, spreading through abandoned mine tunnels and fractured rock. Despite repeated containment attempts, the fire was never fully extinguished and caused ground instability, toxic gas emissions, and surface temperatures hot enough to crack roads and foundations. Over time, the underground fire made long-term habitation impossible, leading to the gradual abandonment of the town.
Tinfoil true.
Tinfoil true.
Yeah, tinfoil true.
Man, y'all just copying me.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
No.
I really, really blundered reading that first one.
It's all right. The second one, I've actually watched Answers with Joe on this, and it's like not the only coal mine. Like there are
Oh,
several
yeah.
coal mines around the world
And natural gas.
that are
That just caught on
constantly
fire.
burning.
Yeah.
They just don't stop burning
Are we
because
right?
Yes.
Yeah. Woo!
it's just unfortunate that one
Well,
of those
that-
we actually knew was true.
That happens with us a lot. Like there'll be some that me and or
It's like,
Andrew
oh,
were
I've
like,
randomly
yes.
watched or listened to something about that.
Although sometimes that bites you because there's been times me and Andrew know it and then it's wrong. And we're like, what? I saw.
I guarantee you, there's been several where I'm like, no.
He gave us 2 true ones and AI just gave him something that was real.
Yeah.
The game series Silent Hill is based on that town in Pennsylvania.
All right.
The whole abandoned town with fire, hell burning underneath, that kind of thing is like the whole inspiration for Silent Hill.
Crazy.
We got 2 more rounds. The CIA created fake vaccination programs to gather intelligence. U.S. intelligence official used a sham vaccination campaign in Pakistan as a cover operation while searching for bin Laden. A local doctor was recruited to run a fake public health program in order to collect DNA samples from residents near a suspected compound with the goal of confirming the presence of bin Laden's family. The operation was carried out without the knowledge or consent of the local population and later drew international criticism.
Who needs consent when you have the government?
Number 2, the CIA has a history of embedding intelligence officers within various international aid organizations. Agents are tasked with gathering local intelligence while delivering humanitarian assistance in regions experiencing crisis. Aid workers are instructed to observe community leadership structures, note population movements, and report on any local sentiment under the cover of relief distribution. Internal guidance reportedly framed the practice as a way to collect environmental intelligence in areas otherwise inaccessible to foreign operatives.
This one's tricky, man.
Ooh, yeah,
This one
hard.
is very close, but again, I'm going to
I'm
go with
gonna
my
go
gut
with
and say
tinfoil
tinfoil true.
Mm,
See, now you're copying us.
no, I'm gonna say true tinfoil on this one.
Andrew's right.
Oh
Wow.
man! Oh,
That
one was
seems
tough.
something so extreme that the
Sus.
CIA would do something like
Vaccines.
But the CIA.
that. Yeah, because I've heard some wild things of them trying to find Bin Laden, and they were
I can believe both of them are very plausible.
yeah.
And I could see both of them happening. That's why I went with what I went with, because like, again, it was one of those, but in this case, they both kind of felt true.
Yeah.
But like,
I mean, and the CIA has
I'm not
done
even-
some pretty shady things.
Yes, they
For
have.
sure.
it's kind
Good
of
old CIA, man.
kind of what they're there for.
And our final round. A pope once ordered the death of many cats. Pope Gregory IX associated cats with heresy after issuing a papal bull that linked them to devil worship and occult rituals. The document described black cats as symbols of satanic influence, and its circulation across Europe contributed to widespread fear and persecution. In the years that followed, cats were killed en masse in many regions. A campaign later believed to have worsened rat populations and indirectly exacerbated outbreaks of plague.
I think that was actually true.
And the second one is medieval authorities blamed owls for crop failure and ordered their extermination. Owls were reportedly viewed by medieval officials as omens of death and misfortune, particularly during periods of repeated crop failure. Local records allegedly describe organized efforts to hunt and kill owls after they were blamed for blighted harvests and declining yields. Authorities supposedly argued that removing the animals would restore divine favor and agricultural stability, framing the extermination as both a practical and spiritual necessity.
True tinfoil.
Yeah, true tinfoil.
What you are describing with that second one is mouse China, but instead of owls, it's sparrows.
I want to say tinfoil true, and just because I just want to see if being opposite of Andrew is going to pay off this time, but also like I feel like the cat thing is so like, what's the right word? High profile of an incident that I would have heard about it in the past. But
Oh, what? You encountered something you don't know? Oh, man.
But
It must not be true. I didn't know about it.
But a group of medieval people like wholesale blaming the failure of a crop on just like the appearance of owls totally
women
makes
were
sense to me.
wholesale blamed and called witches? Okay.
It makes sense.
You're going opposite of the rest.
Yeah,
Shush.
Didn't pan out. Andrew got him all right.
good for Andrew.
Hey, I said true tinfoil.
You got it right, but Andrew got all of them right.
Yeah.
I actually put a little effort into these, so because Vandy. I'm not saying Vandy just put effort, but there's been times where Vandy's it's
Vandy,
like
you're
so
slacking. You're
so
slacking,
like
Vandy.
like it was like some organization, some school, and it's like that what. So I made sure to give details. So it
No,
all
that was
the
good.
only thing about the last one that did seem a little bit fishy is that you said medieval authorities, and I'm like, the
Medieval-
church,
medieval-
because that's pretty much
Yeah.
the only medieval authority.
Yeah.
I said officials.
I heard about this about the cats a long time ago in a YouTube video about how the Black Plague started, and it was all because of they killed the cats, man. But you know what? You know what?
I do know what.
We can fix it all with Phantom Time.
Phantom Time.
We can fix all of it, everything, all of it.
Now I
What
like
you're thinking of, you can fix it. Phantom Time for 5 payments of $19.99 plus shipping and handling.
you got it wrong. It's
5 easy payments.
easy payments. You got to get the pitch right. It's 5 easy payments.
5 easy payments of $19.99. But wait,
But wait, if you call within the next 2 hours,
We'll throw in 2 rats for free. Dead rats. No extra charge. You just pay shipping and handling costs.
we'll give you this
operators are standing
Tupperware.
by. Call now.
Give you this Tupperware full of 2 dead rats.
Anyway, I like to start off my segments by asking, what do y'all know about Phantom Time?
Do you know the Muffin Man?
Do you know the Wild Man? I'm not going to press the button.
Like,
I don't know. I haven't heard anything about Phantom Time right off
is
the top of my
Phantom
head.
Time kind of one of those things where
It's not Danny Phantom, no.
no. Is it
Danny
like
Phantom.
missing time kind of?
Yes.
Like where you
Get abducted and 2 hours of missing.
yeah.
No,
like-
it's
like
it's
missing time?
much bigger than that.
oh.
Oh, so when the Earth gets abducted
No.
and the sun's missing?
Much bigger. No.
bigger than
What about you? You know anything about Phantom Time?
I don't know anything about Phantom Time. This is the first time I've been introduced to the term. I'm wondering if it has anything to do with like periods of history that are gaps in history, historical gaps of time or understanding.
and the
that we-
Mandela effect. Could it help like
No.
explain some of that? Oh.
You're kind of in the right ballpark, but it's a little more specific.
Okay.
So, what if I told y'all we don't live in the 21st century? We actually live in the 18th century. Actually live in the 18th century.
I think I have heard of this.
Yeah, I figured you had. You always, because you watch the same stuff I watch.
Yeah.
You listen to the same stuff I listen to. You get.
But I could be wrong. Go ahead.
You probably do. You probably do. But yeah, what would y'all do? What would y'all say if that someone told you all that?
I would believe it because
Go
history's a
on.
lie. History's a lie, Tyler, and you know it.
They
Don't
covered it
look
with
at me like
last
that.
week we learned they covered it with mud.
There,
That's true. That's true.
there is
it's
a-
all a lie, and they're covering it up with mud.
I mean, there's a very slippery slope that you walk down whenever you start trying to wholesale abandon our understanding of history and like civilization and timelines. Because it's not to say that like
Will
any
this
one
explain what happened to
civilization.
Atlantis?
No,
It's not
Oh,
to say
man.
that any one civilization has a consistent timeline that stretches all the way back across the entire span of recorded human history, but we have enough patches of human history from the major powers that be
It's still a lie.
to
Sorry.
construct the timeline that we have. We have enough of like so like let's play it out then. Like if you believe, this is actually the 1800s, they're not in the year 2000 or the 21st century. We're actually really in the 19th century. It's like okay, which 2 centuries do you take out?
I'll
The
tell you.
first and the last.
I'll tell you.
Tell me.
You take out the ones that aren't real.
Whoa.
how convenient.
So, and I'll tell you what those are.
All right.
In the late 20th century,
Uh-huh.
German historian Herbert Illig
Herbert Hoover.
was doing what a German historian do.
Hysterical person does.
sorry.
And he was looking at math and history and realized the math didn't math. Because
They found 4 decades
No.
missing.
so he was looking at when the Gregorian calendar reform 1582 happened. And in 1582, Pope Gregory XIII corrected the calendar to align the spring equinox back with Easter because it was off. And they know it was off. They could calculate how much it was off and why, because the year was 365.25 days. But actually, a year is 0.2422 days. It's not exactly 0.25. So that little bit of time adds up. And with it, every 128 years or so, the calendar slips by an entire day. So
Wow.
at 1582, that was
You'd think it's not that significant, but like over large spans of time, this actually does add up and become a problem. So they did amend the calendar for that
in
specific. And I think
1582,
I'll let you talk.
in 1582, he made a new calendar basically, which is more or less the same calendar as before, just a little fine
Yeah,
tuned.
so just kind of like
But
fixed it. Cool.
you know, put it back to where Easter would match with that. And he set by what he did was basically adjusted it by 10 days. However, according to the math, which would have been the math he did, so he should have calculated the right thing, it was off by 13 days, not 10. So if he miscalculated it by 10, then 10 days would not have set it correct. But 10 days did set it correct. But according to the math, it should have been 13. So the historian,
I
Illig.
see where you're going with this.
historian Illig said, where did those 3 days go?
Death,
That's
burial, and
that's
resurrection.
360-ish years extra.
I forget what the exact rule is, but I think like the way that it works with the current calendar is that you know how we have leap year
Yeah.
every 4 years. We fix it by adding in like or we take away a leap year on any, I think it's like any
Yeah, the leap
pure
year is
century
weird.
year that is like divisible by 4. So like if every 400 years we don't have leap year on that year.
No, it's every 4 years except the 100th year, unless that's divisible by 4 or something.
Yeah. That's what it is. So like so like the year 1900.
Did not have one.
Did not
2000 did
Yes.
because it was divisible by 4.
Yes.
Math.
That
It's-
no,
like it.
but that's how it works.
Saying
but it
that
works.
you're saying.
But it works out to an extent because
And then we also have leap seconds every so often too. To kind of
Oh no.
you don't even know, like those are secret. Those like those people don't even know are happening.
the dark
But
secrets
so
of the leap
currently
seconds.
we kind of make up for it. So that's why we aren't getting off now. We do things to make up for it, but back then they weren't. So they basically would just wait till it was really far off and then
But
adjust.
but isn't this just like, wouldn't this just be answerable by like depending upon which year he chose, or like
No, but literally based on how he did it, 13 days is how much he should have corrected by.
I feel like there's
No, it's I'm gonna get to the end to explain because
okay.
like my conclusion and most scientists' conclusion is like this is not true.
Okay,
I always present it like I believe it's true
very
because
good.
it's more fun that way, but I will go by the end on why. But
So you kind of do like the Y files guy does.
but he is 100% correct from his take of it should have been 13 days.
All right, go ahead.
It's 10. Why is it 10?
I will not
And the
skip
only
through
conclusion he could come to was that
that.
300 and something years was fake. And it makes sense to think that too from his perspective, from what he was aware of. And so he began trying to figure out, okay, where could this have gone? Like, what would have happened? And it pulled him to the early Middle Ages, which is the Dark Ages, which is when basically life goes on halt for a few hundred years. So it makes sense to think no progression in 300 years. How does that happen? Houses don't change. Fashion doesn't change. Science doesn't change. No new technologies, no new arts. Like almost nothing. And no records from back then to even say this was written during that time, or like very few. So he was really suspicious of particularly 610 to 911.
What year did he do this in?
1990s.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought this was like
No.
1500s.
No,
yeah,
well,
no,
well,
me
no.
too, Andrew. I'm
So
thinking, I'm like, okay, here we go.
the change was in the 1500s. The calendar changed in the 1500s.
Oh.
Okay.
But the guy that's studying it or looking into it is
Okay.
In the 90s.
1990s.
Okay.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
So yeah, the calendar changes.
You and I were both still over here going, ugh, math.
So he went through sources, and like I said, he kept coming back to the Dark Ages. Everything pointed to that. How architecture froze, fashion, and then you have the Renaissance after that and all that stuff. So he started looking into it, and even looked into Charlemagne and how, like, if you really dig into Charlemagne, how his story doesn't even make sense, like how he did everything he's accredited to have done.
Charlemagne the god.
Yes. Everything he's done, Kanye did better. I'm not even gonna but everything he did, people say like you could do that, you could not do that in a lifetime. Like he was somehow fighting campaigns and conquering, but he also was somehow practiced law and was into religious doctrine and made advances in astronomy and architecture. And
God forbid a dude have a hobby.
but basically, like everything he did, it was too much for one person. So he's like, this guy's fake. And basically, the conclusion, I'm just going to kind of rush through it so it's not as boring.
I have a fun fact about Charlemagne that I'll share later. This is a really fun, obscure fact.
The conclusion he came to is that the Pope purposefully faked these years.
Mhm.
It's
So that
always
way-
the Catholics, dude. It's always the Catholics.
So that way he could say
That's not nice to our Catholic audience.
he could say that the Byzantine Emperor Constantine, all the Holy Roman Empire stuff, all that happened at a symbolic year. Basically saying, oh, the church kind of took over and became the significant thing in 1000 AD. Like basically it's like propaganda for the church. The guy's like, he has to fix time. He's writing and he might as well do it in favor of the church and the authorities and kind of solidify see it's ordained. So he created Charlemagne to look better than whatever and to kind of mimic it after himself and just created this time. And he refuses, like I don't think he's still alive. I think he died. But even like in 2012,
He's still adamant about it.
yeah.
He's like, my math
So
is
what,
correct.
what was the scientific conclusion in like looking at this?
So
Like what do scientists say is the explanation?
of what the 3 years, I'll get to that in a second. But the one thing that kind of proves no is Halley's Comet. The Halley's Comet return to work has to have those years.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't synchronize without those years. So it's like, no.
Mm-hmm.
And not to mention, like, if you take broader world history and not just European history,
Exactly. That's what I was getting at.
this is not the answer to the answer though. What
Okay,
happened to those 3 years? But if you take into account broader history from Chinese,
Yeah.
Like
other
those years?
like believe it or not, other cultures write things.
but here's the thing that he didn't, and I guess at some point he had to have confronted that this happened, because again, this isn't like this guy was around 100 or 150 years ago. So someone had to have told him, here's your 3 years. And I don't know why he would deny it. But the 3 years, Andrew, your favorite, the Council of Nicaea.
Council of Nicaea.
In 325, the council already adjusted back 3 days. So he wasn't taking into account that in 325 the calendar was already shifted 3 days.
Dude, there's so much.
So
There's
his
so
math
much that goes back
was
to Council Nicaea.
wrong.
No, his math was right. He just didn't know it had already been shifted.
Yeah,
He
he
was
was
unaware.
missing one of the variables, so his formula
No,
was wrong.
no, his thing was time needed to be shifted 13 days. It's only shifted 10. What was wrong was it was shifted 13 days.
Right, and he didn't know because he was missing one of the variables. Is what I was saying. He
So,
didn't know it had been
He
there.
was right, but wrong, but wrong,
That's
but right.
The same
He
way
was,
that you
he
can
was
always
so
be in
correct
math.
that he was wrong.
Fun fact about Charlemagne, just to throw this in
Which
here.
one?
The Emperor Charlemagne.
Okay.
At some point in time, I was researching medieval cloaks just for an interest because I like to pretend that I write stuff from time to time, and medieval fashion is actually one of those things that I look at, like trying to incorporate it into what I write. We know from his records what Charlemagne's preference to cloaks were, because he was Germanic and he liked the longer cloaks. But when he became like the Holy Roman Emperor, he basically had to adopt Italian fashion.
God forbid.
And he is recorded as saying that he hated the Italian style cloaks because they were shorter. They only came down to about the waist, whereas the Germanic cloaks would go down to about your ankles. And the reason why, this is the funniest thing, the reason why he said he didn't like the Italian cloaks is because he couldn't pop a squat in the woods whenever he
my
needed
gosh.
to. He said, I prefer to be able to pop a squat without being exposed. This is the funniest little anecdote about Charlemagne, because like we know how he liked to use the bathroom now. Although it wasn't a bathroom.
Wild.
It is wild, but yeah, there you go. The fun little fact about Charlemagne. He
Well,
liked
the
long
fun
clothes.
fake fact because he wasn't real.
Yeah, you know,
Someone just made that up to be convincing, and it fooled you.
it fooled me. It got me good. I mean, it's no different than like the myriad of weird quirks and traits that they give to modern superheroes. I mean, you could say that. It's just somebody making their favorite fan fiction of Charlemagne.
But
Well-
it is interesting that there's roughly a time period that fits the idea of it being skipped you could point to. Because, like, it's not that unbelievable that the Dark Ages could just not have existed and we'd be more or less just as well off.
No, I look at the Dark Ages and I think it all makes perfect sense. Whenever you basically discourage all forms of literacy, and then suddenly, oh no, human progress has ground to a halt.
Well,
I wonder why.
yes,
Nobody
that's
can read.
That's kind of like the other thing is like the reason why there's a halt is because there was not just there was
Which is why we should be terrified that they're graduating people with
Dude.
like basic
Oh my God.
illiterate reading
yes,
levels.
yes,
Homeschool your
yes.
children if you can.
with a good homeschool curriculum.
Yes.
With a good curriculum. Yeah.
This episode is sponsored by next episode.
Sponsored by the next episode.
Yes.
Yes.
It's weird.
The next episode will pay for this episode in dividends.
Yes. Wow. What an episode, man. That was a lot.
I pity your editor. I pity him so hard.
This guy right here.
Yeah. You got my
Yeah.
pity.
Yeah. This one's gonna be
This
is
was a
gonna
lot
be
of
a monster.
information.
there's gonna be chunks, probably this as well, that I cut out. Not because of her, but some of the beginning side tangents I wrote too.
Tangenty. Like we went places.
Please leave
Mhm.
the part about demon Bigfoot.
Oh
in there.
no,
That
that's
was
staying in
amazing.
because I was
Yeah.
on top of
Cool.
it.
Yeah, everything about
I'm
I'm talking about
Bigfoot
like
staying
the
in there.
reacting to the videos, like all that.
Yeah.
All that's gonna get cut.
That's okay.
Well, thank
But-
you all for listening.
Well, thanks our guests,
Yeah. You're welcome.
Tyler and
Jessica.
Jessica. You have any final thoughts for the tin heads out there?
Who you calling Tin Head?
No final
Pinhead
thoughts.
Larry.
Because that would feel like
I'm
I'm never
Dirty
coming
Dan.
back
Final thoughts for the episode.
for the episode. GMO your babies.
Hot take. GMO your babies.
You got anything, Jessica?
If we can GMO our corn, we can GMO our babies.
That's right.
We're gonna GMO the best babies.
We're going to make them all Midwesterners. They're all from Iowa now.
Why are you
All right.
talking that way?
He is
No,
an
this
all
was fun.
American, baby.
This is fun.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you later. Peace.